read comments. I'm going to see if I can flip this and see if I can read comments this way. That's not going to work any better. So, I have been doing gig economy delivery. Well, I guess I can start with something else. I've actually been doing delivery for 3 decades. So I've probably been doing deliveries for longer than most of you have been alive. So I started when you still had to use maps and do routes before you could even leave wherever you were at, because if you got lost, all you had was payphones. And I would bet that most people wouldn't even know what payphones are these days. But I guess I can actually talk about just gig economy delivery in general. I've been doing gig economy stuff since 2014. I've done Postmates, I've done Caviar, I've done DoorDash, I did Amazon for a little bit. I've done Roadie. I think that's about it. But I have definitely done a lot of different kinds of delivery. I have to say that delivery has gotten a lot better since 2014 when I started. It was really the Wild West when I started. I think that the apps were really bad. The companies did not know how to schedule. They would send us on bunches and bunches of deliveries that didn't make any sense together. It was a crazy time. And I did pretty well. I made decent money. But I also didn't like where I was delivering at for the first probably 6 years I was doing it. I was in a bigger city, which is great if you want a bunch of deliveries, but also it's bad because you're dealing with traffic, you're dealing with getting parking tickets. I mean, if you go, how you doing? You're just, man, I am having so much trouble reading this stupid thing. The comments are so small on my thing. I wish I could read it. But the bad thing about delivering in cities is that you got heavy traffic, you got parking enforcement everywhere, and traffic lights are a pain in the ass. I mean, they're just a pain in the ass. I mean, you're lucky if you can get through 1 or 2 traffic lights in 3, 4, 5 minutes. So it really is just a waste of time to deliver in a city. And that's why actually after, I think it was probably about 2020, I decided to actually move to another area that was much more suburbial. It was it was just a nicer area to deliver in. You know, I didn't have to worry about getting parking tickets, which I got probably a half a dozen parking tickets when I was delivering in city. So I was so glad to move to the suburbs. I don't think I have had one parking ticket since I've actually been out in the suburbs. And that was I think that was around 2020. I think it was actually right around COVID time, I believe, when I moved out there. So much less traffic, so much nicer. People are nicer, a lot less havoc. And, but I think overall, I think also, besides moving to the suburbs, I think the apps have gotten way better. I mean, when I first started doing Postmates and Caviar back in 2014, it was awful. I mean, the apps would crash all the time. They would send you out on deliveries that didn't make any sense. And, you know, I had already been doing delivery for 15 years at that point. I mean, it just didn't make any sense where they were trying to send you. It's like they would send you to one end of town, and then you would get something going all the way to the other end of town. And then food would be sitting late and, you know, at these restaurants. And then, you know, we'd get hit with violations that weren't our fault because, you know, the algorithm and the app stunk. But I think around 2020, I think they've got a lot better. Although I must say, what's going on? There's a girl that talks to me. She likes me. What do I say to her? I think you just have to talk to her. I mean, I think you just have to say hi. I mean, they are human beings. And I'll tell you why I know this, because I've done so much shopping for women. I've had to go to like Sephora. I've had to go to Nordstrom's. I've had to go to Ulta Beauty. I mean, if you saw the amount of money that it takes to actually be a woman, I mean, it's incredible. And, you know, they're doing it for a variety of reasons. They're trying to do it for their job. They're trying to, you know, attract women or men. They're trying to impress somebody. But all they want is if you just say hi and you're not anxious about it, you're okay. You're not going to die, you know. I mean, what's the worst? You get rejected? I mean, guys get rejected all the time. I mean, ask any guy who's used a dating app. I would bet you that guys swipe on 90% of the women and women swipe on about 10% of the guys. So we are rejected all the time. So, I mean, just say hi. How are you? And just get things going. I mean, that's all it takes. You know, you know, I have to commend women for just dealing with guys, because we're awful. I mean, we stare at women all the time. I mean, I'm in an area where, I mean, there are beautiful women all over the place. And they probably get stared at all the time. So, you know, kudos for them for putting up with us. But no problem. But kind of getting back to doing, you know, gig economy stuff. You know, I've been doing it a long time, and I'm glad for people that do it now, because they didn't have to deal with the headaches that we had to deal with these apps. They were crashing all the time. It was tough to get a hold of customer support. And even now, it's still tough to get a hold of customer support. You know, but there's way less app crashing than it used to be. I mean, you'd be dealing with it at least once a day or twice a day. Yeah, it's way different now. And it's such a lower barrier now to actually doing gig economy delivery than it was when I was, you know, when I started. I mean, you actually had to know your stuff when I started back in the 90s. Now, you know, you got GPS, you got your smartphones, you know, you have self-driving cars, you have all this stuff now. And now, you know, it's so little effort for somebody to, all they have to do is go into the restaurant, they pick up their stuff, they get in the car, and they go. They just turn on the map on their phone and boom, they're set. So it's just such an easier world for people that actually want to do delivery now. Trying to think else I want to talk about that. I also think that there's been such a massive increase in the amount of drivers coming on board. There used to be, like, from, I'd say, September to about May, you'd get a certain amount of drivers, and then you get like the summer rush of college students and teachers and whatnot. They would come on board and they would start delivering too. But some of them have actually stuck around way more than there has been before. I'd say there's probably, from this year to the last year, probably 10 to 15% more drivers out on the road, which means that the drivers that already exist, they're getting less deliveries overall. And that's for every market. And I think it's worse, actually, if you're trying to do it in a rural area. If you're trying to do it in some small city of like 35, 45, 50,000 people, I mean, you are screwed. I don't know how you guys make any money. I mean, the real money in gig economy delivery is in cities and the suburbs of major cities. I mean, I don't know why DoorDash even, or any of these companies, Uber Eats, Grubhub, I don't know why they waste their time with these small towns where some person may get 4 or 5 deliveries in a day. I mean, and to give you an idea, I probably do 20 to 25 a day. You know, I'm doing at least 2 deliveries an hour and probably more. So it's, in some ways, it's almost kind of caused me to think about whether I even want to continue doing this. You know, as far as doing, things like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, stuff like that. I've even contemplated the idea of even starting my own delivery business again. I did have one before I started doing gig economy delivery back in the early 2000s. And I did all sorts of stuff. I delivered all sorts of stuff. I mean, way more stuff than I do now. I mean, I was doing food delivery. I was doing bird deliveries. I had logistics companies asking me to do deliveries for like PetSmart. I did prescriptions. I did, you name it. I did just about everything. But, I think I'm done for the night because I'm just scatterbrained right now. But thank you again.